It's the Weekly Wrap with your host, broadcasting legend Bruce Wolf, and his trusty sidekick, comedian Tim Slagle. And now, without further ado, Bruce Wolf.
Tim Slagle with no Bruce Ruth. Tim Slagle today with no Bruce Wolf. Here on the Weekly Wrap is Bruce is unavailable, so I am filling in. But I don't like doing a show alone. I can barely do it with a partner. So I invited a friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome star of stage, screen, and TV, and host of the Another Day Above Ground, the podcast for baby boomers, and the professional summarizer. Please welcome Dale Irvin.
Thank you, Tim. Boy, that's a lot of titles, so I hope I can live up to them all.
I'm surprised I remembered them all. It's Dale. I do something every week with Bruce. I try to get him to guess what's in my background, and it's usually has something to do with a news story. And I am going to ask you to see if you think what I might have selected for my background this week.
I think you may have possibly the a shot of the White House with the new ballroom being built.
I was actually thinking of the mixed martial art amphitheater, but no.
All right, then I'd have to go with.
I don't know. It's much.
I'll go with something from Iran. I really don't know.
Oh! You did get it. Yeah, it's a big week in Iran. It's the start of Pride Month in Iran. Oh. So there you go. And I could not resist not having to guess that one. I can't. I am awfully dark here. I need a ring light or something. Anyway, let's get right to the stories for the day.
Okay.
The first one I think that's on everybody's mind is the California primary.
That's pretty much it's like going to the circus seeing a freak show. There's a bunch of people in there.
Yeah, I think there were actually more people running for governor in California that actually watched Stephen Colbert's Late Show.
But yeah, it's interesting.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Here's the thing that I found interesting is that it's not over yet.
No.
At least we're taping this on Thursday night. At least as far as this evening, they're still counting. And
well, they did find out, however, they finished counting, found out that Ronald Reagan was elected governor in 1966. So they got those all counted.
I think it's these recounts. The longer the count goes on, the more likely is that a Democrat will win. And they have, I don't know if you realize, they have 7 days to get your ballot in after Election Day. You can still vote. You can still stick them in the mailbox 7 days, according to election law, which is something that Trump wants to change because. It kind of seems a little fishy, doesn't it? I mean,
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you have Election Day, and if you need an extra 7 days, start a week earlier to build up to Election Day. I mean, geez.
Well, they don't know how many extra ballots they have to print. That's basically the problem. It's they were concerned about the gubernatorial that the two front runners there for a while were both Republican because they had so many Democrats on the ticket that they thought there wasn't going to be a Democrat. But it's Director of Health and Human Services Xavier Becerra was actually the leading Democrat that beat all the other ones. He was Attorney General for California. Which I find interesting because a lot of people tell me that RFK Jr. is not qualified to be the Director of Health and Human Services. because he does not have a medical degree. And
He's got medical problems. Same difference. First-hand experience.
Yeah, he does. He might not be in the medical profession, but I understand he knows how to use a needle. So he's he's an amateur phlebotomist, I think.
Wow, I love the way they dance. Yeah.
But the Xavier Becerra, no, he was just Attorney General. He knew nothing about health and human services either. He just knew how to avoid charging Somalians for corruption. So it's moving on. Moving on. Speaking of elections, I like to get this right up front because we have a listener that cannot stand when we talk about the 2020 election anymore. Bruce barely tolerates it because the 2020 election, he thinks we might as well have a Civil War roundtable as talking about the 2020 election. But Chris and I both enjoy following it. You know, it's our favorite conspiracy that the 2020 election was stolen. And Trump is all in this week. He had a interview with Miranda Devine of the New York Post, and he said that he now has proof that the 2020 election was rigged, and that we are about to see criminal charges.
Well,
And
there you go. It's it's a history lesson for most of the kids. Let's go back 6 years and see what really happened. Let's see how many votes we can dig up from the grave and
well, how long was it after the 1960 election before we realized that Kennedy probably didn't win, that they probably stuffed the Chicago ballot boxes, and so that Nixon, if Nixon would have demanded a recount, he probably would have won. Did you ever
well,
hear that?
I heard stories to that nature, but the most of the votes that came from Chicago were from the mob or the cemetery. I mean, they had a lot of votes they were controlling.
And sometimes they're from the mob in the cemetery.
Exactly, exactly.
Well, no, not the cemetery, but at least the Eisenhower portions of the Eisenhower Expressway.
or the Calsag Canal. It could be anywhere in there.
It's totally off topic, but that was one of my favorite stories when the drought hit Las Vegas. And,
Oh yeah, we got bodies popping up.
kind of made you sick because I drank out of the faucet in Las Vegas. So I probably, if you do a really thorough DNA test, you might find Jimmy Hoffa.
I thought he was buried under Giant Stadium, but you never know.
It's I think what do you think, Dale? Are you on board with 2020 election stolen, or do you think that it was the most honest, most secure, the safest election in history?
Well, I'm sure it wasn't the latter, but it's 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 yesterday. It's past news. If they prove it was rigged, nothing else is going to happen from that. The election is what it was. Let's move forward. But I don't see a lot of sense with saying, "Oh, it was rigged and we got the proof," unless something's going to happen from that. I don't see what would happen.
Well, the thing is, if there were people installed deeply within the system that were able to rig it, they're still there. They didn't say, oh, well, that's all we wanted was to see Biden in the White House with Dr. Jill. That's all we wanted. Now we're not going to rig another election as long as we live. No, I mean if the system for corruption is there and it exists, we need to uncover it. And
Well, yeah.
I think California is a great example. The fact that I'm going to project right here that they are going to keep counting until Spencer Pratt is off the ballot for November, and they're
Huh.
going to keep counting to make sure that is it Steve Hilton, I think, was the Republican on the gubernatorial, and they're going to keep counting until he's off as well. They're not the jungle primary was not intended to allow Republicans access to the general election.
Well, yeah, California is pretty much the petri dish for, election fraud and stuff. So I'm not surprised that there's all that happening. But I remember Flip Wilson had a great record out there, and he was saying, they're going to do a live show of recorded for me. And they said, they asked me, do you want us to put people into the audience to laugh? He said, you mean you want to rig it? I said, no, I don't want no riggers. My mother's a rigger. I don't want no riggers in my audience.
That's a new R word, I think.
He was a funny guy, man. He touched on everything.
It's well, we got you sent me an article. This one fascinates me, but we're not going to be able to. We don't have enough time left in this segment. You're going to have to stick around for the B block for this. Is that apparently there is a teleporter machine at the Waffle House, and we got that story and much more coming up. Stay tuned. Tim Slagle in the chair for Bruce Wolf on the Weekly Wrap. Tim Slagle filling in this week with Dale Irvin on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce could not make it, so I invited the host of the other podcast that I do, called Another Day Above Ground, which is a podcast for baby boomers. Dale and I do a podcast for people who have no idea how to download podcasts.
But they have grandkids that can do it for them. So, that's
yeah. So the sense of that podcast is just marginally better than this. But if we can combine both audiences of both podcasts that I'm on, we might actually have more listeners than gubernatorial candidates in.
We get up to double digits, no problem. No problem.
First story I want to start out. I don't know if you saw this, but they fired Steve Pelley from 60 Minutes.
I did see that, and because apparently he spouted off at the CEO or somebody, telling him he was running the show into the dirt, and so they fired him. But I never found him to be that offensive.
Do you still watch 60 Minutes?
I watch about half of it. I watch 30 minutes, and
I did not even know who Scott Pelley was, to be honest with you. That's how much interest I have in 60 Minutes. And I am now of the age where I'm supposed to be the prime demographic for 60 Minutes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's enough to make you feel like a geezer right there. Oh yeah, I'm their demographic now, boy. Bring on the Miralax. All right.
Miralax and Ozempic.
Oh yeah.
What's the other? Jardiance. That's the one. The one that's really swell.
And the one they used to have back in the old days, which was Seratan, which of course is nature's spelled backwards. And that's the kind of crap you'll get on Another Day Above Ground. I'll tell you that right now. That's the kind of information we spew.
So that apparently they have not been happy since CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss has taken over. And we've talked about her a bunch of times on this show. Everyone's saying that she's a far right extremist. And,
tomato on that. But the rumor is now that they're going to have Joe Rogan join them. And I don't know if it would be as a reporter or if he's going to take the place of whoever gives the last word or whatever as a commentator. But that's a rumor. And 60 Minutes has so far said no, we're not talking to him. But
Well,
the,
if I were Barry Weiss, what I would do is I would fire the whole staff and I would hire James O'Keefe and Nick Shirley
I
because
don't
those
know them.
James O'Keefe was the guy that exposed Acorn, the one
Okay.
that went into the Acorn offices with a girl dressed like a hooker and said that she's an illegal alien and she's a minor and I'm her pimp and she's going to get deported. And can you help us figure out a way that she can stay? And Acorn actually went bent over backwards to try to get this girl a green card so she could still work in the United States. And you don't hear about Acorn anymore
No, no, you
because of
don't.
because of that. That was James O'Keefe. Then of course Nick Shirley. Nick Shirley is the one that went to the Somali daycare centers in Minneapolis, knocking on doors, asking if he could get little Timmy enrolled in the daycare center.
No, we're full. We're full. I know there's no kids here, but we're full. They're imaginary.
My favorite was always the few minutes with Andy Rooney that was at the end of the show.
Yes, yes,
And
that's
if you
what I,
remember
that's what
Andy,
they. Yes, I remember that. That was he was he was the only one worth watching back then. Yeah,
the lovable curmudgeon,
yeah.
there'd be what's the deal with checkout counters? You'd think that they'd be able.
What's the deal with my eyebrows? They look like caterpillars.
The funny part about Andy Rooney though is Spy Magazine did this one piece, and they said, okay, Jerry Seinfeld, hip young comedian, Andy Rooney, crusty old curmudgeon. So what they did was they took lines that were Jerry Seinfeld's or Andy Rooney's, and you had to guess which was which, and you couldn't. It's that Andy Rooney, and Jerry Seinfeld were. It's just they did the same shtick. There was no differentiation between Andy Rooney and Jerry Seinfeld. So,
Other than about 80 years, but other than that,
well, that's what I'm thinking. Okay, Nick Shirley, uh, um, James O'Keefe, and then a few minutes with Jerry Seinfeld to wrap up the show.
there
And
you
it could be
go. There you
what's the
go.
deal? What's the deal with restaurant tips? Used to be 10% was a good tip, but it's not anymore.
Now they look at you and say, if you can't afford the tip, don't eat out. Jeez.
I don't want a tip. I don't want a tip just because someone poured me a cup of coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then just push you over. That'll tip you.
Wow, look at this. Chris found it. Chris found the Spy Magazine thing. It's
Wow. Wow.
can you read them, Chris? I can't read them. It's not big enough. I don't have the right glasses on.
Okay. People who are awake feel superior to people who are asleep because sleeping people usually don't look good. I hate
I'm
carrying
going-
shopping bags. I hate receipts.
Okay, number one is Andy Rooney. Number two is Seinfeld. Do you know? Do you have the answers there too?
Answer
Yeah.
right
You
there
do.
on the bottom there. One
Okay.
Seinfeld, or one Rooney, two Seinfeld.
I got him. Got him so far. Okay, number three.
Number three, I've never really known what to do about my uncles. I like to look and be more. I'd like to look and be more muscular than I am, but there are so many of them. I never know which ones to try to build up. I never know what to do about my muscles. Sorry.
Muscles, yeah. I thought we were talking about your uncle's muscles, and I don't even know your uncle.
Yeah, you're obsessing on your uncle's muscles. It's a whole different problem.
Yeah, right.
Which your uncle's muscles sounds like a good name for a band.
Okay, do you want to guess, Dale? What's number three? Focusing on his
I
uncles.
never really know about that's got to be, I don't know, Andy Rooney. I'd go with.
Tim,
Seinfeld.
it's Rooney.
Man,
Ah,
All right, one more. In modern society, you really don't have to be physically strong to do anything. The only reason that you're getting in shape is so that you can get through the workout.
Seinfeld.
See, they're going to go every other one here. Essentially, you got to know, you got to do two at a time because that's Seinfeld. So let's do two more.
okay.
All right. Vacuum cleaners are absolutely unsatisfactory. Anyone who thinks he's cleaning the house when he's vacuuming is kidding himself. That's 5.
Andy Rooney.
Then what's number 6?
I always have the feeling that after a bath, I want to take a shower.
Seinfeld.
No, that was backwards. That was Seinfeld was 4 and Rooney was 5.
Wow. Look at that.
Good.
But then
Yeah.
what about the taking a bath after the shower? I thought that was Seinfeld.
I always get the feeling 6.
I'll take a bath after.
Nope,
the
that was
shower.
Rooney.
I'll be darned.
Huh. Sounds like George, actually.
sounds like Kramer, actually.
Well, I was thinking Larry David. It's very, very Larry David, I think. But moving on. Well, I teased it in the last segment. This one, now. What is the deal? There's a teleporting machine at a Waffle House. Am I reading this correctly?
Well, apparently the guy was in a teleporting machine and he teleported to a Waffle House.
Oh.
And then he also teleported to the White House, apparently to bring some hash browns or something from the Waffle House. But yeah, he was teleported to a Waffle House, and then it was the White House. So yeah, you don't really know what to buy off of this thing, but
was it consensual?
well, yeah, it was a FEMA official who did this, and yeah, I guess it was consensual. Either that, or why would you walk in to a teleporting machine not knowing where you're going?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Was it an alien abduction? Did they like suck him up and then leave him in a Waffle House?
Well, Trump said he's going to find out the truth. So, cover this again in August.
I remember, did you ever see The Simpsons where Homer bought a teleporting machine?
I may, but I don't remember.
It was a teleporter, and he would actually have a machine bedroom booth next to his chair, so he could from the kitchen.
Let me just repeat that for the people that are listening that couldn't understand because you were all broken up. Homer had a teleporting machine next to his easy chair, and he teleported to the kitchen.
No, he had the other booth was in the kitchen, so he would just have to reach in the teleporting machine, and his arm would come out the other teleporting machine into the refrigerator for a beer. So,
well, that's good. That's
wow.
It's almost as good as having a dog.
Anyway, we got lots more stories coming up. I've got to reboot my modem, I think, my internet connection, and we have more with Tim Slagle and Dale Irvin in for Bruce Wolf on the Weekly Wrap. Tim Slagle in for Bruce Wolf, Dale Irvin on the Weekly Wrap. Bruce is not able to do it, so I have invited the host of the other podcasts I do, Another Day Above Ground, the podcast for baby boomers, and we're here talking about the news as always. And as you can see from my background, they are celebrating Pride Month in Iran, and apparently some governors have expressed resistance to the Pride Month.
Really?
It's Utah in particular. Yeah, Utah in particular. The governors are saying, no, we're going to make June something else. We're going to make it June Awareness Month.
Well, why do they get a whole month? That's what I'd like to know. Why do you get a whole month? Maybe a week or a day,
Well, it started as a day. They celebrated the Stonewall, I think it is, riots in New York, where You used to get arrested if you used to solicit another band for illicit activities. And apparently they went into a bar and they started arresting guys and put down your weapon and you pay hands in the air. And they said, no, we're not going to. We should be allowed to do this. And they started riots. And that was, I think, the weekend before 4th of July was the weekend that they that first happened. And yep, the Stonewall riots.
Well,
And
that's what they should get, is a weekend then.
well, yeah, but they can't just do a small, simple party.
I saw a great T-shirt today that I have to get for you. It's a gray T-shirt, and on there it says "openly gray."
But then, then it went from a weekend, from a day to a weekend to a week, and now a month. And I think it's probably because it was June 28th, 1969, according to Chris. And I think it was because, we have Black History Month. Certainly we should have. There's far more history of gays in America.
Well,
There-
I would like to cite one thing of which they are proud. The pride word is what throws me off. What are you so proud of?
Well, the invention of the glory hole.
I did not know that. Okay. I take back my comment then. There you go.
There's something. See, I grew up Catholic. I grew up believing that pride is a deadly sin.
Yeah. I grew up that it was a group of lions.
And a lion is also a sin, but
But I don't understand. I could understand, LGBTQ month or however they want to phrase it, but Pride Month, I just don't get the pride part of it. Oh well, that's just me.
and I don't know what about all these months? What are we supposed to do with all these months? I mean, that's it's okay. You got your month. June is now the month of April, May, Pride, July, August. Okay, that's what else? What are you supposed to do that whole month? I mean,
Be proud, apparently.
yeah, that you're not doing the rest of the year. And do you have to wait a year to do that? I don't know.
And they should move it to August, which has no national holidays. It's the only month with no holidays. Move it then.
Yeah, there you go.
So-
But moving it, that would be labor, and we already got a day for that. I think that's
Well,
what it
that's
is. I think-
September, though. That's September.
Is it always?
Always, yeah. It's first Monday of September.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, there's nothing in August. I looked.
I always confuse Memorial Day and Labor Day. Did you ever have that problem?
I never have. No, one's in the spring, one's at the end of summer.
Well,
I've
I know.
never-
That's what I mean. They're the bookends of summer. They are the bookends of summer.
There you go.
But I could always confuse them. I go, which one is labor and which one is memorial? And a little mnemonic device for anyone that doesn't that has my issue. Labor is what happens after 9 months of pregnancy. And so
That's
Labor
right.
Day is the 9th month holiday.
Oh, well, there you go. There you go. And May is two, it's only got 3 letters. So if you had 2 more letters, that'd be 5, and it's the 5th month.
So where would we be if we didn't follow up the last story about teleporting into a Waffle House? If we didn't mention that apparently a whistleblower from the CIA says that Ancestry.com is actually a CIA operation to screen people for aliens, and not the
I subscribed to one of those, or I got one of those. I think it was 23andMe, and I went and looked back at my heritage. There were no aliens in it, I don't believe. I think I was part European, part Scottish, and about 5% German Shepherd.
We got that for our dog. We wanted to know what our dog was. And it was kind of interesting. Is he's 1/4 cattle dog and 1/4 cockapoo.
Wow.
So I'm guessing, yeah.
So that would make him a cattle poo, which you could call him name him manure, which would be very appropriate.
we I, I have
Oh, you're bouncing around a bit again. So Tim is temporarily frozen. Yes, frozen. That's a good word. But he'll quickly unfreeze because it's 85 degrees outside and very warm. So he shouldn't stay frozen for long. But if I was him, I would suggest that he sit while he's frozen very close to a bottle of vodka and chill that down.
yeah, nothing better in the summer than a refreshing frozen bottle of vodka. Although it does not go that well with a radio broadcast.
You don't know till you try. I've known entertainers, Martini and Rossi. Okay, so there you go.
But where were we? Oh yeah, we are the CIA DNA test. They're finding criminals with the DNA. I've kind of been. It's been my speculation for years now that the whole 23andMe and Ancestry.com, it's just a scam to trick people into getting all their DNA into a database. Because that's how they found the Golden State Killer. Do you remember that story?
Yes.
Somebody took some clever investigator he was an unsolved case, and they took the DNA from the case and they ran it through 23andMe, and they found a bunch of potential relatives, and they looked them all up and they say, "Hey, do you know anyone that might be a serial killer?" And they all went, "Yeah." Oh. So that was that's how they caught the Golden State Killer. I have never done it myself. I don't believe in it. I don't. They tell you all these things. It's like the new, there was a fad, I think, in the 70s. If you're a baby boomer, you probably remember this fad. And I think next week's episode on Another Day Above Ground, the podcast for boomers, is actually going to be about fads that we remember. But finding who you were in a previous life. Do you remember that? Remember when people were all doing that?
Using what, a Ouija board or something?
Nah, they were somebody like a fortune teller or something would say, "Oh, you were in a previous life. You were Cleopatra." A lot of people were Cleopatra. There were thousands of people that were Cleopatra in a previous life, and nobody was, "Oh yeah, you were just a grunt. Yeah, you cleaned out the sewers in Rome. That's your previous job. So you're lucky. You're lucky now. You're middle management. Much better than shoveling under the aqueduct there."
Well, not much better, but better.
And so anyway, yeah, that's what kind of the Ancestry.com. That's to me is they're doing the same thing. They're going, "Oh, we traced your DNA and you were a Viking warrior.
That's what they said about me. That was 1% Viking or something like that. I was lying bastard.
And as a nod to Bruce, were you Thor? Only after I raked the leaves.
Yeah, that was primarily a European because my mother was German, and Scottish because my dad was Scottish, and it was like 1 or 2% Viking, which really excited my daughter. She goes, "We got Viking in us." Well, I don't know.
Well, I think with the amount of times that the Vikings raped and pillaged through Scotland, I think everybody in Scotland
There you go. Has a little Viking, exactly.
Had a little Viking in them, so to speak.
Yeah.
one other story, and I find this terribly interesting, is that National Science Foundation is getting really upset that apparently Trump is pulling out all the deep sea investigation buoys.
I didn't know. I don't know anything about those boys. Oh, buoys. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. What are they sending lads under the ocean for?
Yeah, the investigation boys for Pride Month.
We,
They're going deep.
So what are these things? They're to stop enemy submarines and stuff from coming in?
Apparently, there were these things all over the country that measured like deep ocean temperature, and they cost thousands of dollars a piece to maintain. They're probably it's probably like $1 billion enterprise, and Trump goes, we don't need that, and of course everyone's going, well, how are we going to measure global warming? Who cares?
Go outside. Go outside. They make these things called thermometers.
Does that information really have does it have any value?
I don't think so.
Other than giving them, see, we told you it was going to happen.
I'll tell you right now, it happened before. First we went into the ice age. Now we're going into the global warming age, and it's going to be ice cubes on the street in another 1,000 years.
Yeah, that glacier comes back. You'll be hoping for global warming, but we have much more to talk about. We have more Trump stories coming up on the next segment. Tim Slagle in with Dale Irvin for Bruce Wolf on the Weekly Wrap. Tim Slagle in for Bruce Wolf with my co-host Dale Irvin today on the Weekly Wrap.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, happy to have you. It's been fun, Dale.
Well, it's what life is all about after a while. It's all about fun because if you can't laugh,
you should die.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of entertainment, there are a lot of people going to be entertained on the White House lawn, and no, you're not going to be entertained by Joe Biden being led around by an Easter bunny. No, it's they have built. Have you seen pictures of this?
Yes, I have.
They built an arena on the south lawn of the White House so that President Trump can enjoy an MMA fight from the balcony.
And I don't have any problems with that if he would join in. I think an MMA fight, him and Biden, Chuck Schumer, throw them all in a cage,
That would actually, I would actually like to see that. I would like to see that as the rather than just scrap the next election because they're all crooked anyway, and just put J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio. Well, we could do a primary, J.D. Vance versus Marco Rubio. Who do you think? I think my money's on Vance on that one.
It's like Thunderdome, man. It's coming to maybe the best man win.
And then whoever wins that one will go up against I don't know, Kamala. Do you think Kamala's going to run again?
Who knows? I mean, I think it would be silly for her to run again because they have other candidates that are possibly better. But
really?
Yeah.
Name one.
Well, if I could, I would. But no, I don't know what's going to happen, or I don't know.
It's and Trump, of course, he's getting loads of mileage. There's never been a president who's been better at trolling the left than the current occupant of the White House.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And he's saying now, because they're all upset because he tore down the East Wing and he put the UFC arena. And he said pretty much, pretty soon you're going to have the presidential limo without wheels up on cinder blocks on the West Lawn. And he's saying it's going to make it permanent. I mean, what the heck? You've got the JFK swimming pool. You got Nixon's bowling alley. Why not have the Trump arena on the South Lawn? it's bread and circuses. It's all about bread
There
and
you go.
circuses.
There you go. It's yeah, he'll have a tunnel over to the new ballroom for the bread.
And also, speaking of entertainment in Washington D.C., the Freedom 250 concerts have been
I
canceled.
know. My tickets aren't going to go for much now. The only person I think that was left was I don't know, somebody I'd never, well, most of the people I'd never heard of, but yeah.
Millie Vanilli, I think, is the only one that said, "I'll do it. I'll still do it. I I did. My calendar's pretty empty. I really don't want to
And
cancel
if
this
and,
one.
and if you can lip sync, you can join us.
I
Okay, Tim is frozen again. He's in an area with really bad weather changes. It just changes momentarily. He'll go from frozen to unfrozen. Occasionally there's a little sleet, but other than that, that's why I'm here on the beach. It's much better weather than being frozen. But anyhow, yeah, what he wants to do is to now, instead of having this 250 concert, which because everybody pulled out just about, he just wants to have a big MAGA rally. I don't know what that's going to encounter, but apparently they plan on just getting all the MAGA people. I don't know what they call them, MAGGUts, and together for a big rally, and then possibly they'll wrestle each other, and I think that would be nice.
and I'm back, and I
Very,
have
very
no
good. All right,
I
sun
have
will
no
come out.
I have no idea what went on in the meantime,
It,
I guess
it,
my point about Millie Vanilli is completely moot at this point. So
well, they weren't moot. They lip synced. So, there's a difference between, or no, that's mute. That's mute. I'm sorry. That's different. So what other good stories are there, Tim?
well, it would seem, speaking of arenas, it would seem that that Illinois is going to lose one. Is that the Democrat-led House did not approve Pritzker's bill to
Keep the
give
Bears in
assorted
Illinois.
tax rate. Yep, yep.
This is just the
And
stupidest thing in the world. So they're going to relinquish the Bears to Indiana and all the accompanying taxes. They won't get any. I mean, I don't understand it, what they were thinking of. A little bit is better than none at all.
are there actually taxes collected from the?
Property tax, sure.
I thought they were going to be given tax breaks. I thought that
That's what
was
they're looking. That's what they're looking for, and they're not coming up to the level that they want. So,
no, no, no.
but
It's I don't care. I'm after what the Bears did to Soldier Field, and and then to say a few years later, well, this isn't really good enough. This isn't.
when they turned it into a flying saucer, yeah,
Yeah,
with
yeah.
an open roof.
Yeah, I think they deserve to be sent to Indiana, and we're actually on the air in Indiana, so we're on WJOB also. So I think some people might they might take offense to my last remark, but I don't. I guess it'd be good for the region. I don't think I want to deal with the traffic, but
Well, I have nothing against Indiana. I just read where they have a new parenting match for people with kids. It's called Who's Your Daddy, and they will find couples that can have kids.
and maybe you'll have it. Maybe you'll have an alien in your lineage that you'll find out about. So it's and it doesn't really matter. Okay, Arlington Heights, Hammond, Indiana. What's the difference? It's not Chicago. I mean,
Well,
it's
that's
the
true.
Chicago Bears are not going to be in Chicago either way. I think Brandon Johnson still thinks that he can pull out a deal that might get them to stay, but
And a thing
uh,
to consider when the original Los Angeles Angels moved to Anaheim, they were renamed the Anaheim Angels. So, watch out for the Hammond Bears or the Hammond Eggs. but that could happen.
Yeah, it's the Bears. The Bears are famous for laying eggs. That is that is. But they are not. They are not the crazy bear that apparently has been terrorizing Japan.
Just one?
If you, I think so. Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, that's all. That's all you need is one.
Japan's a fairly sizable country. You need more than one bear to terrorize, I would think. What's he doing that is so bad?
He injured 4 people already. He's
Oh,
been probably
wow.
going through trash cans, and they don't. The Japanese are traditionally neat people. They don't want their trash thrown all over the
Well,
lawn,
of course
and
not. Who does? Yeah.
every Japanese worker packs their lunch in a picnic basket.
So the bears are just really accused of pilfering and littering.
And killing people.
Oh, did they? Oh, okay. Well, then there's that. Yeah. I saw a story in the news today about a guy. He took one of those airboat rides down in Florida, through the swampy area to look for alligators. And I took one of those myself. They tell you to keep your hands and feet inside the boat. This guy got bit in the face. So apparently he thought if his hands were in the boat, he could stick his head in the water. But he got bit in the face, and now he's suing the company for $50,000 because they didn't tell him that alligators were dangerous.
Keep your face in. They just said hands and legs. They did not say the face. So there is a loophole there.
Exactly.
It's Fukushima, Japan, where it happened. That isn't where the nuke plant. This isn't a nuclear bear, is it?
Wow. Well, he's not glowing from the picture, so apparently he's just a regular old Yogi type bear. Well, he doesn't have a hat, pork pie hat.
He's lucky, and he's lucky he's in Japan, because if he was in China, they would have removed his gallbladder already. Yeah, it's 2 workers at a steel plant were attacked before he moved into the neighborhood, and I wonder if he punched in. I wonder. They didn't notice him till he was all the way up to the line, and they go, "Hey, wait a minute! You don't look like Fang."
Yeah, Johnson, where's your clothes? Come on, man. Put on some pants and start lifting stuff.
Or at least put on a necktie and a hat. Anyway, this has been a lot of fun, Dale. We are just about out of time. And,
time flies,
especially when the internet seizes. It's anything you want to plug before we bid adieu?
Well, I would welcome everyone to visit my website, DaleIrvin.com, and on there you can press a button for the Friday Funnies. And every Friday in your email, I will deliver to you a 4 to 5 minute video on the odder stories in the week's news, even odder than what we talked about today. So visit there, and thanks for inviting me, Tim.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for coming in. It's been a lot of fun. And hopefully Bruce will be back with us next week, so I won't have to stutter through these. That's it. Tim Slagle, Dale Irvin for Bruce Wolf on The Weekly Wrap.
And that's The Weekly Wrap on radio and television. Follow Bruce at Bruce Wolf Shy on Twitter and Tim at timslagle.com. The Weekly Wrap with Bruce Wolf, a CP Pods production.